everyone. Can you hear me? Good evening, everyone. Thank you all so much for taking the time to come to this important event, the State of the Madison County Schools. My name is Alita Stender, and the president of the Madison County Schools Parent Organization. The MCSPO was created 2 years ago to support our local parent groups as well as the Madison County school system. Tonight's event offers our stakeholders an excellent opportunity to hear about the great activities and accomplishments happening in the Madison County schools, but also to become educated about important data, funding issues, and future planning strategies for our system. The State of the Schools presentation allows Mr. Massey, our superintendent, to highlight such topics and point out ways that we can all assist in the ongoing improvement of the Madison County schools. As this is simply a presentation of important events and information, Mr. Massey will not be taking questions or comments tonight. The Madison County Schools Parent Organization hopes to plan an opportunity for an interaction forum in the fall. But in the meantime, we encourage you to attend the monthly Board of Education meetings and talk with your Board of Education members, three of who are here tonight, and talk to them about the issues that are concerning to you. So at this time, I'm going to give the floor to Mr. Massey so that he can tell us all about the great things in our school system.
Thank you, Alita, and thank you guys for being here this evening. I want to recognize my board members here that are here tonight, and that's Dave Weiss, is District 4. Dave, you can stand up and turn and wave. And Nathan Curry and Angie Bates. So thank you guys for being here. I have my board has been extremely supportive of me, and we've worked really well together, and we have a mixture of veteran board members and new board members, and I tell you, it is very encouraging to know our board members care about our students. That's what they're there for, and so all of our decisions are revolving around that. We're actually in our process for our strategic plan that we're going through now. We've had 5 community meetings. And a lot of you were there, and appreciate the board participating in that. We've got surveys online. We have student surveys and employee surveys, and so we're accumulating all of that, and that process will go on through the summer. I want to thank the Madison County Schools Parent Organization. Guys, if you're not involved in that, you need to get plugged in on that. That is it's a way to kind of combine things together so everybody kind of gets an idea of where we are. And so with that, we'll kind of get started this evening. We have a little bit of one of the things that I wanted to focus on when I first came in. I started in January 1, 2015, but it was really our brand and our message. You know, when I first started off, our logo was actually the exact same logo as the State Department of Education. We literally just copied and pasted. So I have a teacher committee, and it's one teacher from each school, and we just kind of came together in a subgroup of that, just kind of created a logo committee. And so this was our logo that we had. You can see it's kind of branded here in front and behind, and we're trying to do that in a way digitally to get it out there. It's a lot cheaper to put the brand out there digitally. But the 6 stars are from each of our 5 graduating institutions in our career tech industry. Instead of a book or something like that to go with as the background, they wanted a torch with a light. And that light really represents the 3 defining attributes of our values, and that's leadership, passion, and knowledge. And so there's a lot of Madison counties in the United States. There's about 23 of them, I think. And so we needed something to identify us as Alabama. So that's kind of our logo. We came through. That was a really fun process. I took the Dr. Davis, which was a superintendent, two superintendents before me. He had a triangle of excellence, and that was the three different sides of the triangle, the 3 C's, which is communication, character, and commitment, all surrounding students. And so what I kind of wanted to do is come in and bring more of a personal, of what I identify with as my values there, and those are what symbolized there as the 4 pillars. And on the foundation there is our mission statement. But those things are transparency, equity, readiness, and advocacy. Transparency is really connecting with you, connecting with stakeholders, with teachers, with students, and letting them know what we're dealing with and what our mission is. Equity is being able to get those students what they need to be successful. It's interesting, in our community meetings, the number one thing that every community kind of wanted to strive for was equity. And a lot of that is every community thinks sometimes they may have the short end of the stick compared with others. The end thing when everybody thinks there's an equity issue is going to be the finances and the funding, and is what we're kind of limited by. But what we can do and what we can put our resources, that is what we're striving for. What's exciting now is we offer, in all 5 of our high schools, we offer advanced placement, math, science, English, and history courses, from our big schools to our small schools, to our rural schools to our more suburban schools. So that's one of the things that is a value for our system. Our readiness is what we want, is what's coming next for our kids. That's career, that's college, higher education. And the advocacy piece is something that I feel very strongly about, and I really felt as my role coming in as superintendent was to advocate for our students and for our teachers and our community. Because in how we are as a rural school system or a county school system, we don't have a mayor, we don't have city council. County commissioners, we have them, but half of our 6 county commissioners live inside of Madison or Huntsville City, and the other half, their districts go inside the city. So really, it's up to advocate for our students. It's up to me and our board members, and that's a part-time job for them. They all have full-time jobs, and so I really feel it's incumbent to me to really be that advocate for our students and try to communicate well what they need. One of the things that we try to do as part of really the transparency and the advocacy piece is we updated a website, something that if you've ever done that, I'm not sure if you have built a website. It's like, oh, it's easy, let's build a new website. And it was a year-long process and many hours from lots of people going into that. There's still a few areas that have some gaps that we need to clean up there. But with this, it's live, it's rolling, and you can really get an idea of what's going on in there. One of the things that I wanted to do also coming in was have a big social media push. When coming in, a lot of people get their news by the social media. This is our direct messaging from us to our constituents. Our Facebook page, which is on the left there, when I came in, I think we hadn't really had a Facebook post in a year or two. Went from very few interactions to, we have over 7,000 likes, which means every time we push something out, it goes to 7,000 people. We have one of the greatest reaches in just a short amount of time of any school system in the state. And we also have a very robust Twitter following too. If you want to know what's going on in our schools, you can hit that up and you'll see kind of what, as a system, we want to try to reflect what the schools are doing too with that. So with the communication piece, we really wanted to be able to reach our stakeholders that way. And some of our just this year's academic achievements, so we did take our testing this spring. We don't have those results in. We'll get those in the summer. But from last year to this year, we had a very nice gain in our ACT Aspire math scores. We went from 50% benchmarking to 58% benchmarking. And I want to explain what benchmarking is, because there's a lot of miscommunication or misunderstanding of this. A lot of people interpret this in the press and our politicians that it's proficiency. So only 58% of our kids can do math on grade level. That is not what this is. This is the percentage that is expected to benchmark on the ACT math. All right? Does anybody know what the benchmark is on the ACT math? So 22. Our administrators know it. A 22. So 58% of our kids are on track to score 22 or higher on the ACT math. Well, that's a pretty good accomplishment on that. We had our ACT composite grew more than half of a point. This is all students in Alabama take the ACT as juniors. So all together, we had a one-year growth of over a half a point to now our average is above a 20. We hit an all-time graduation rate hike up to 93%. There's been some questions about this in the U.S. Department of Education. We have gone through our numbers and we have vetted it, and that is an accurate number for us, and we're very proud of that. That has been one of the main things when our principals, if you give our guys a goal, our administrators a goal, they're going to go after it. And when the State Department of Education, when we came in and Mary Scott Hunter challenged me my first day in office is to get that graduation rate above 90, we went from 87 to 93%, in just a couple years. And that really is a credit to our counselors, our teachers, and our administrators. That's a really incredible gain. And it's amazing to me when you can't have too high of a graduation rate. There was many that looked at Alabama and said 90% graduation rate, that's too high. You're not capable of that. That's bunk. 93%, we can do better than that, and we will. All right? These are kids, you can't join the military if you don't get a high school degree. We have to strive for 100% in that. So that's not too high, and that's not too high for Alabama either. In our advanced placement, it's kind of a 5-year glance. We've had over 3,500 qualifying scores. So we want our students taking advanced placement. We feel that gets them prep for college. We've had 3,500 students earn that score to get college credit. That's $5 million in tuition that we've saved our families in that. And with that, we haven't just increased that number, but we've also doubled the number of AP courses offered. So now we've covered our cores. You're going to start seeing advanced placement in arts, in music, in psychology, different electives come forward with that. So there's some exciting things coming from that. In fact, today I talked with the New Hope AP Calculus teacher. They're going to offer AP Stats next year too. So, I mean, another new program coming in like that consistently. So our folks have worked really hard at growing our AP program. This is a look back at the 2015, the year before. That showed our improvements from this. But to kind of give you a glance, we kind of compare ourselves with large school systems across the state. There are 9 school systems with 15,000 students or more. So that's kind of a good category for us to compare with. So in math, of all large school systems, this was the previous year from what I just showed you there, is we were second behind Shelby County. In reading, we were number 1. And that's really our goal. That's kind of our peer group of what we see, and Shelby County is a good one to kind of pace with. So it's kind of a back and forth with them. So again, our 2017 scores will come out in June. Programs and initiatives that we're offering kind of recently and that are emerging is our virtual school. The state passed the law year before last that you had to have a virtual school policy. We really took our time and we wanted to do it right, and so we started a virtual school. We just completed our first year of it with about 35 kids. I actually went today to their awards day, and this virtual school is not where these kids are off in remote areas of Alabama. These are students that live in our school zone that want an alternate way of kind of learning. And so we keep track of them. If their grade drops below a B, we require that they come in. And we had it open for certain hours and stuff this year. Next year, we're actually going to have full-time teachers that are there for those kids, and we're going to offer them at more than one site. We're going to offer it here at our Career Tech Center. We have a place there for our virtual academy, and we're going to offer it at Sparkman 9 too. So we're going to actually have 2 campuses, and that's for grades 7 through 12. Received a lot of feedback. There's a lot of different kind of students that take advantage of this, whether it's cancer survivors, if it's elite athletes that are kind of training professionally, or if it's just people that have been homeschooled that are coming back in that kind of want that connection into. So it's been a very positive program. We really wanted to keep it kind of small to make sure we were able to manage it and do it right, but that's something that you're going to see grow the next few years. We're seeing more blended learning in our schools. We have our high schools are giving assignments that kind of mix an at-home online curriculum in with that standard classroom teaching, and that prepares those kids for a lot of times. That's how our college classes are. We're doing Project Lead the Way. A Project Lead the Way is really a STEM program. It's science, technology, engineering, math, and some art mixed in there too. So we had Project Lead the Way in our high schools for a while, but we really felt like we needed to reach out to those younger grades. So we got a federal grant, and it's for $750,000 to implement this in grades 3 through 5 students. It comes with a lot of training. At each school, there's a grade level teacher, and it has just been dynamic in those schools. Now, the thing is that was connected with schools that had a high military enrollment. So really, it's half of our elementary schools. And we'll talk a little bit about our local funding, how we don't have a lot of discretionary funding. This is a program we want to see fully implemented in all of our elementary schools. It's not yet, but it's one of those things that we're in year 2 of this, and it is going really well on that. We've got robotics is emerging. It was kind of a high school thing, and then we had some of our middle schools getting involved, but now we're even seeing it in our elementary schools. We're seeing it in our libraries, are kind of having a little spaces where they're doing robotics. And cyber is becoming a big deal too. Huntsville's kind of the cyber center that's growing, and we're plugging into that. We're working with the local board here that's wants that implemented in high schools, and so we're going to be able to see a growth in that too. We have 13 Blue Ribbon schools. Blue Ribbon is a very rigorous process to go through. They come in and they evaluate. They do surveys with parents, with teachers, with community members, with students. And we have 13 Blue Ribbon schools. That is an incredible number. And at their national conference, they really look at our schools to kind of lead the torch and carry that and really help other schools through that. Canvas has been another one in our initiatives. It kind of with the blended learning piece. So Canvas is a learning management system. And so what it is it's kind of like if you think of a canvas for an artist. It's kind of a blank slate, and they can build anything on there. And that's kind of what this is for our teachers. It's not a set software or things just to give students. It is a platform that allows teachers to communicate with students and parents, to have class discussions, to deliver content, videos. You can even grade lessons. You can keep up with the roll book on it. Canvas is used in about half of our colleges and universities in Alabama and across the Southeast. We've been the only system to use that on a K-12 approach. It may not necessarily for our early childhood grades, but our high schools really latched on. But now even our intermediate grades are really kind of seeing the power of that. The parents that whose kids are using that in their elementary schools have a communication level where they can even see assignments that are coming up in the future and can interact that. So that's been really positive. So just kind of with that, this is our second year of it. This was our numbers as of January. So we had 955 teachers who are actively using Canvas that have designed and built over 3,300 courses. And we have over 14,000 students that are actively engaged with this digital platform, engaged with original teacher content in that. So it's been, for a system that really couldn't afford a one-to-one rollout, we can't afford to get a computer in the hands of each of our kids, but what they have is they're coming to us with their technology. So what we're trying to do is to harness that, and this is the platform that really will maximize that usage. So we were able to go one-to-one with our teachers this year. We got Chromebooks for each of our teachers to start this school year, and that's something that we're going to probably be building on there. A Chromebook is less than $200. It's kind of a web-based little laptop thing, and so we want to get more of those as we go in the future. We think that's a way of a very inexpensive way of using your tax dollars well to give our students that advantage and have them prepared from there. Let me see if I skipped a slide here. So we're going to talk a little bit about revenue here. We get revenue in 3 different spots. We get it from the federal revenue, local, and state. The federal revenue is our smallest piece of the pie. And right now we still don't know what's going to happen with the federal funds for next year. Of how they're going to divide those up. So we're kind of waiting to see a little bit about that. They're kind of looking at a change in direction. The red is the state. The state House and the Senate have come together, and they have passed a budget last week, and the governor will be signing that soon. The green, and that's 2/3 of our spot there. The local, though, is really what you're kind of allowed to do to try to make everything else work. That's from paying light bills. Sometimes you have to use it for transportation. To offer those classes that you want to get those programs involved. And that is where we kind of get in a tough spot. So because of that, What we don't have, all of our local funding comes from county funding. We don't have a municipal funding mechanism like a lot of other city systems do, or every city system does in Alabama. So this is some of this data I've actually got. The Alabama Association of School Boards has organized some of this. I got some sheets back there. You can grab some of this. It's not the exact presentation, but it has a little bit of the same information. But the average expenditure per student in the United States is a little over $11,000. Okay, so on average across that. So Alabama is a little bit lower than that, you might guess. It's a shade above $9,000 per student. And it's not last. It's ranked. That ranks 42 of all states. Now the next slide is going to be where we rank in Alabama. Okay, we're at shy of $8,400 per student. Okay, so our state already is one of the lowest ranking states in the country, but our system in this state with very low funding for students, we rank 118 of all systems in our state. Okay, there's only 137 school systems in the state of Alabama, and we're 118. And this is what you, our stakeholders, our local politicians, should deem as completely unacceptable. Okay, we're recruiting businesses into our school system, into our schools. This is not something to be proud of. Okay, we would love to say, hey, look how low funded we are. Let's keep that up. No, there is more we want to do for our students. All right, and I want to show you just how atypical that is. Well, I wanted to give you a good look at that first, I guess. But I wanted to show you how atypical that is just in our area in the Tennessee Valley. So we rank 118, and these are some of the other area schools of where they rank. So there's A-Rab at 74, Morgan County's at 68, Madison's at 61, and they've got some funding issues there too. And Gunnersville 60. And you'll see all of this, guys, 118 is out of the norm. And really it's the question we need to ask ourselves is this acceptable? Is this okay? Are our students in Madison County worth as much as all the students around us in North Alabama? Because right now the message is the commitment hasn't been there. One of the reasons that we're this low is that every other county in this picture on this map in North Alabama, they have a 1 cent countywide sales tax. Okay, countywide, 1%, and some of them have even gone more than that. But the state legislature allows the commission to put on a 1% sales tax. Our county hasn't done that. They put on the 0.5%, and they did that a few decades ago. And so we only have a 0.5% sales tax countywide. So what happens is as a city system goes, hey, well, that's not quite adequate, it's really easy to raise municipal revenues. So that's why you see the city systems raising those revenues. A county, rural Alabama, cannot do that. And that is kind of because we don't have any other large cities generating revenue in our system. The only cities in our school system are Gurley and Owens Crossroads and New Hope. And so they don't have the sales taxes coming into that. And so that's how we're ranking 118. Now how we're doing with all those, all the rankings of where we are, that's a credit to our people and to our teachers. Now, we want to treat our teachers very well. There's an article that came out today where in the state, we rank 16th in the state in what we pay our teachers, the average teacher. We used to be actually higher than that, but others are kind of able to catch up. We have invested into our people, and that's kind of our brand. When we talked about the brand of that, our brand is our people. We're not going to wow everybody with the newest technologies, but what we're going to do is we're going to have great teachers, we're going to have great administrators, and they're going to get our students ready for what's next. Just to give you another closer look at what that local funding looks at, Huntsville City this is comparing us to our sister system here. The average dollar per student, this is local dollars. Remember, it was $8,300 and change for the total student. But for us, it's $2,285 per student for local dollars, and it's more than twice that for Huntsville City. So what does this mean when you have 19,000 students or 22,000 students? Huntsville has a few more students than us in this. The difference is that in your local revenue. We get about $44 million in local revenue. Huntsville City gets about $105 million in local revenue. Okay, that's over $60 million a year in discretionary funds. Okay, I mean, you literally can build a high school for a year, every year, in cash. Okay, so that's what we have to work around. That's our constraints. And so with that, the expectations, our community expects the same of our students and our teachers as every other system around. So it is a credit to our system, but it's also we do have some needs. Now, one of the areas that I focused on when I came in is to try to even that out, is to create partnerships with some of our surrounding business. We're trying to get industry involved in what we're doing in our schools. Okay, nobody's writing checks for millions of dollars to equalize that out. Nobody's going to see that chart and go, okay, well, here's $10 million. That's not going to happen. But what we want to do is to offer experiences in our schools that will match and have them ready. So when I came in, we kind of had some partnerships, just a couple in there. But that's one of the areas that I really want to focus on. And just some of the ones we have are up there, and the folks on YouTube here that are watching, that's Brown Precision and Intuitive, that are coming in and bringing programs into our schools that after they get established there, we want to actually see those grow to other schools. The home builders have helped us with our new programs we brought into our career tech. BBVA Compass has been a very strong sponsor. Lockheed's actually taken our virtual school under their wing, and they're helping us with that. So we've gotten, Adtran's been a long time partner with us, and we've got Cyber that's helping us out too. So we want to keep growing this. Those partnerships, we want to pile on top of each other. Okay, and that's what my ask is to our local businesses, to have those, hey, come be a part of this. We're the best investment around. The return on investment that we have is unmatched. You know, the accountability that we're under, everything we do is public. We're the most accountable industry you can have. And so we want to be transparent in that. We need your help. We need your partnerships. But it's also a credit to our people of how strong we are. I thank you for your time. I didn't want to keep you long this evening. It's very simple. We have needs, but we're going in the right direction, and we just thank you for your support in that. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Massey. That was very enlightening. I don't know about you, but I don't like the 118 when we're surrounded by 21s and 14s, and we need to do something about that. You didn't mention the the upcoming renewal on the, and you may have to help me with some of this, the property tax that funds all of the school systems in the in Madison County. Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll have the property tax renewals expire every 20 years in Alabama. So ours will expire at the end of 28 along with the other city systems. So we're talking with the other systems and trying to figure out a date to kind of do that. But that's actually going to come up in a vote. And so it's got to pass. And one of them actually has to pass with 60% margin. That's a landslide. So if you went by 20%, that's not skin your teeth. That's written in the Constitution. So we're going to need your help in that. So we're working with them. We're looking at some of these Senate special elections. We may try to tag on to one of those so we don't have to call a special election and spend taxpayer dollars on that. But we're still in talks on that. We haven't set a date yet, but those dates are coming up. So yeah, I definitely meant to put that on your radar and set the plate for that.
We don't need to not get that renewal because that's critical. I mean, I would love for us to increase it, but we have to have that renewal. So when that comes up, think about if we didn't have that annual money coming in, what that would do to our school system. I think we would be lower than 130, which is the number of school systems. So keep that in mind, and the Madison County Schools Parent Organization will be promoting and supporting the renewal of that tax increase. So Mr. Massey mentioned that he had some flyers at the back that have some really good information, and I wanted to thank him for the very informative presentation. He did this for the business leaders and all three school systems did this in January, but I thought it was important that we, as a school system, got to hear even more from him about what's going on here. I wanted to remind all of our PTA and PTO officers who are here tonight that we need to elect new officers. So if you'll meet after the meeting, and if the MCSPO can be of an assistance to anyone here, please let me know. And thank you for coming.